The wind howls across the lonely moors, the same moors that once echoed with the laughter of two children who would one day become legends of passion and destruction. Their names were Heathcliff and Catherine, souls tied together long before the world understood the true meaning of devotion. Their story, immortalized through time, still storms across the hearts of those who hear it. It is a tale not of gentle love, but of wild, consuming fire. A tale born from the rugged grounds of Wuthering Heights, where storms never truly end. From the beginning, Heathcliff had always been different, an orphan with no past and no fortune, taken into the Earnshaw family by the master of the house. He was mocked, beaten, silenced, and yet through every hardship, he held on to one lifeline, Catherine. She was the sun that burned through the fog of his existence, the wild breeze that swept through his chest and reminded him that he was alive. The two of them were inseparable, bound not by circumstance but by something deeper, something eternal. One quiet afternoon, when childhood innocence still lingered in the air, Catherine turned to him with a question that would unknowingly carve the first crack in their destiny. She asked him, "Heathcliff, what would you do if you were rich?" The question held more weight than she understood, because wealth was the one thing society twisted against him. And he, with a half-smile that carried both longing and bitterness, replied, "Suppose I do what all rich men do. Live in a big house, treat the servants poorly, maybe even take a wife." The word wife dropped between them like a stone into dark waters. She asked softly, "A wife? What wife?" But Heathcliff did not say her name, not because he didn't love her, but because he believed the world would never allow it. For in the eyes of society, Catherine belonged to another world, one of refinement, elegance, and privilege. This world introduced her to Edgar Linton, a gentle, well-mannered man from the grand home of Thrushcross Grange. He admired her beauty, her spirit, the brightness she carried, and with time he asked her to marry him. The walls of their world began to shift, and those around her whispered things she wasn't ready to hear. One voice echoed louder than the rest. "Heathcliff is gone. You must accept it." And in that moment, her heart broke in a way she didn't yet understand, but Heathcliff had heard enough. Before she could explain, before she could reach for him, he vanished into the night. No goodbye, no promise, only silence. Catherine, now pressured by society, agreed to marry Edgar Linton, believing that Heathcliff had abandoned her. Yet her heart never stopped searching the dark corners of every room for his shadow. Months later, fate delivered a storm. Not from the sky, but from the man who returned to Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff, no longer the ragged orphan boy, arrived transformed. He stood tall, confident, carrying the polished fire of a man who had clawed his way into fortune. But beneath his composed exterior lay a storm more violent than any thunder outside. And when Catherine saw him again, the world shattered around her. She asked him with trembling breath, "Why did you leave me? Why did you betray your own heart?" But Heathcliff, now guarded and hardened, refused to reveal the agony he endured in her absence. His silence spoke louder than any confession. Their reunion ignited a dangerous flame that burned through the halls of Thrushcross Grange. Edgar Linton, threatened by the powerful bond between them, demanded that Heathcliff stay away. He raised his voice, trying to control the uncontrollable. "I will not have you near," he declared. But Heathcliff, with a voice like steel, sharpened by years of pain, answered, "Did you think it would stop me?" The very air trembled between them. For Catherine and Heathcliff, love was not gentle or polite, it was elemental. She once said, "Whatever our souls are made of, yours and mine are the same." And she meant it. They were bound by something neither marriage nor separation nor society could sever. Their souls recognized each other even through walls built by wealth, pride, and heartbreak. But the world is rarely kind to love that defies its rules. In the heart of Thrushcross Grange, Catherine began to feel trapped. The refinement around her, once enchanting, now felt suffocating. She confessed in a trembling voice, "I shouldn't be a prisoner. Our souls are the same, Heathcliff. But everything stands between us." She was torn between two worlds, one of passion and one of stability. The conflict tore at her health, her mind, her spirit. Heathcliff, seeing the woman he loved fall deeper into despair, shifted from heartbreak to vengeance. His love twisted into fury, against Edgar Linton, against the Linton family, against anyone who dared to come between him and Catherine. Yet despite the storms inside him, the boy who had once loved her with pure devotion still lived beneath his hardened skin. One night, when emotions burned too fiercely to contain, Catherine confronted him again. Rain lashed the windows. Thunder echoed across the moors. She demanded answers, pouring out years of pain, longing, and betrayal. And Heathcliff, no longer able to hide behind pride, stepped closer. His voice dropped to a whisper that carried both love and destruction. "No door you close, no vow you make, no threat he gives can keep me from you." The storm inside Catherine broke. Her breath hitched, her heart pounded, and in that moment of raw vulnerability, she said the words that sealed their fate. "So kiss me, and let us both be damned." And he kissed her, not as a gentle lover, but as a soul reclaiming what had always been his. It was a kiss carved from fire, from desperation, from destiny itself. The thunder roared overhead as if the heavens themselves recoiled from the force of their connection. For that kiss was not simply affection, it was surrender, it was destruction. It was the recognition that they were no longer part of the world around them. They were part of each other. But the world they lived in could not survive a love like theirs. Edgar, humiliated and heartbroken, demanded separation. Society judged Catherine harshly. The bitterness inside Heathcliff grew into obsession. And Catherine, caught in the crossfire of two men who loved her in entirely different ways, weakened with every passing day. Her spirit, fierce as the wind on the moors, began to fracture. Her body could no longer bear the emotional storm within her. Their love, once a source of freedom, had become a cage. As Catherine grew ill, she often whispered the words that defined her existence. "Whatever our souls are made of." She clung to that truth even as her strength faded. Even as Heathcliff raged against fate, even as Edgar Linton tried desperately to protect her, knowing she would never fully belong to him. But some love stories are not meant for peace. They are meant for legend. In the twilight of her life, Catherine looked once more toward the moors, remembering the days when she and Heathcliff ran wild and free. She remembered the laughter, the sunlight, the stolen moments before society claimed her. And with her final strength, she spoke the truth that had always lived inside her. "Heathcliff, you are my soul." Those words shattered Heathcliff. They broke him in ways no cruelty, no abandonment, no hardship ever had. For in that moment he realized that everything he had fought for, everything he had burned for, everything he had lived for, he was losing. Even after her death, Heathcliff refused to let go. His love for Catherine transformed into madness, into longing that haunted the halls of Wuthering Heights, into a grief so violent it carved itself into the very land. He wandered the moors at night searching for her spirit, calling her name into the darkness, and many swore they heard a woman's voice calling back. Their story is not a fairy tale. It is not gentle, it is not safe, it is a storm, wild, unforgiving, breathtaking. The love between Heathcliff and Catherine defied time, defied society, defied reason. It lived in life, it lived in death, and it lives now every time we speak their names. This is the tragedy of souls too powerful to be separated, too wild to be contained, too destined to be denied. A love that destroyed, a love that endured, a love that will forever haunt these moors, whispering through the wind. "What would you do, Heathcliff, if you were rich?" And somewhere through the rising storm, his voice still answers, "I would choose you." Please subscribe to my channel, Old Age Stars.